some games here. They're going to be demonstrating, doing a full run-through of Dicenstein.
Yes.
As Andrew Lucio and his friends. Introduce themselves.
James right here.
Spencer, you can't see him.
You can't see Spencer. He's too beautiful to put on camera.
And then you just go ahead and do scene. Scene is that camera.
All right.
So that's that view.
Okay.
Scene 2 is this camera.
Very nice.
That view. And so if things are happening, you might want to switch to the other, whichever you think is better.
Sure. All right.
So you can see Spencer's arm now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Spencer's arm is made.
That's as much as you can see, people.
Just bend your face so they can see it. Keep going until we tell you. There he is. Look how handsome he is. He's kind of like that guy from that movie. What's his name? It's the guy that nobody likes. He sat inside of a building as him himself was. Oh, you know what I'm talking about. What's his name?
Unfinished Business or something?
No. Oh, the thing in the. Come on, what is his name? Shia LaBeouf. He looks like Shia LaBeouf a little bit. Yes.
Okay.
All right. Everyone come in here and just do whatever you want for 5 minutes, and it's art. So, anyways, let's on with what we're here to do today. And today we're here to play Dicenstein, and Dicenstein is a fun and fabulous game with 100 custom dice. That's right, 117 custom dice. You heard it, folks. But here we go. We're going to get right into it. We're going to go with the setup, and then we're going to go into the game, and we're going to show you how fun, fast, and fluid this can actually be. And it's family friendly. Look at the arts. If King Kong can fight T, and this lady over here is completely safe, it's totally family friendly. Now, let's get into the setup. Spencer has our bag, and Spencer is going to reach in there and randomly bring out disc. Disc he's going to place inside of these little circles, and this is what we call our victory point tracker. Yes, that looks really good. Ooh, I'm going to try a little camera reversal. Oh, yes. How beautiful is that? And as he does that, my friend James and I are going to start setting up. We're going to look at different dice on the board, and we're going to use the symbols on the victory point tracker board to tell us exactly where to put these dice at. So, as he's going through, oh, that's a boss monster. It goes on the boss monster space. And we'll discuss exactly what the victory points and how those things work and everything else works as we go through, as we kind of switch up the camera angles a little bit. So, I have, that's right, I have the mummy, and he's on the red tone. You'll notice that as we're placing dice, 3 at a time. There's 12 monsters in the game, and each monster has 9 dice.
So the werewolf goes on the tombstone.
You're still putting it on the
Since
red.
you're the invisible man, I'll give you the invisible man.
Now, don't be afraid you lose the invisible man dice. He's really hard to find sometimes. No joke, but I said that I would put it in the video.
It's almost still a werewolf.
Of course, we always drop dice. That's just how the game goes.
Yep.
You could say that's how we roll.
That's how we roll. Also, another terrible joke that we said we would put in this video.
I hope you guys are ready for this, because at least Spencer will do this all game long. You will get tired of it, and then you will enjoy it, and you'll get tired of it, and then you'll just become numb.
I want to take this time to mention that we had a young man named Logan who did the first video with us. It was an amazing video. He's a 6th grader. I'm not sure if he's local, but he's in theater, and he maybe or maybe not wants to be a famous internet star, sensation, maybe an actor. I'm not exactly sure. He said a lot of things, but he was a great kid, and he should have been in this video with us, but unfortunately, the first video had no sound. And then again, you might say, unfortunately, this video does have sound. You have to listen to me and Sir and James talk. I don't know. We're probably going to get a lot of internet hate for some of the comments we're going to make. I just know that this is Dicenstein and setting up the game and playing the game, but we're also going to be making a lot of other comments. You know, the one we made about Shia LaBeouf. And how Spencer looks just like him.
Try it out.
All
I'm
right.
going to launch the unicorn parts everywhere.
Of course.
That's how I like my unicorn.
Just take dice. I'm not going to say no. Just do it.
This one is
Man.
Oh yeah. Plant.
Remember, the dark green is Plant Man, and the light green is the Mantis. The Mantis is pretty cool. Every monster has their own unique power, And if you build your monster with several body parts, you get access to several powers. Now, as we're going around the board and we're picking up different monster parts, we're going to describe to you our actions. We're going to describe to you why we're doing certain things, picking certain monsters. We're going to describe to you the powers of said monsters. And we're also going to talk a little bit about strategy as we go along. Because this game is not very linear at all. It's a little asymmetric considering the fact that you don't know what you're going to roll, but you can only kind of control the parts that you dig for. And even then, if a person comes to attack you and kills you and gets you reset inside your laboratory, then that kind of throws your whole strategy out the window as well. So we'll just have to kind of take it one step at a time, and I'm sure that Spencer and James will be very, very descriptive whenever they do anything. Isn't that right, guys?
Sure, yes.
You assume that I have an idea on what I'm actually...
Yeah, and you assume that we're going to be talking strategy. It really would just be I'm taking the robot because I like electronics. Like, that's sometimes my game strategy. It just becomes that.
So if you're going to be the robot, are you going to be the robot for the meeple?
Yeah, I'll be the robot for the meeple.
Okay, I'm going to be Dracula, or as we like to call him, Red Darth Vader.
Oh, that's Dracula?
Yeah, that's Dracula. Did you think it was Darth Vader right off the bat?
No, I was thinking of the purple guy from McDonald's.
No,
Purple guy from McDonald's, but
the Grimace. The Grimace?
But
No!
it's actually red, not purple. So I was like, I'm not sure where they're going with
I
this.
just thought it was your clown.
No, that is terrible. It's not the clown. No, that is Red Darth Vader, or as we like to call him, Dracula. He's a monster. He's one of the famous monsters. So you're going to be the robot. I'm going to be Dracula. Frankenstein or the werewolf? Which one? The werewolf. Because you're so hairy. We'll put you over there.
To the werewolf.
Now, kids at home, when you have a bigger table space, we're kind of working with a smaller table space. When you have a bigger table space, make sure that you take your laboratory starting boards and place them next to your starting area. It'll be a lot simpler, a lot easier. Obviously, you want to work with a big square table, so if you've got a big round table or anything like that, then just kind of put the boards wherever's most comfortable for you. All right, so now that we have this going, now I've got a little bit of sound coming from my phone. What I'm going to do is put the old phone on silent because I'm a professional, all right? I'm a professional. Yes. All right, so moving on. Now, everyone's got the victory point board set up, so let's talk about the victory point board. What you'll see is that there are several different pieces. I don't think to bring it closer.
If you give it a second. You got about a 10 or
Oh wait, they can't even see us.
Well, I mean, they can't see us staring, but when we can stare,
They can hear us just sitting there.
they can hear us talking and musing about where are we when the stream stopped.
I have no idea.
I'm not exactly sure.
Probably about the part where you were cheating, but...
Yeah, probably.
Was it the part where I was cheating, where I may or may not? I don't know. Alright. What we could do, could we just record it and then you can load it up later?
Sure.
Let's do that. Alright, we're going to
Start recording.
Okay.
You can keep the streaming going.
Yeah, we'll keep it. Alright, so we are recording now.
Are we streaming or not?
Yeah, we're recording now.
It'll pick up and
Yeah. So here we are playing Dicenstein. We were live streaming, but the stream is kind of acting up a little bit, so we're going to switch to a live recording. Now, I'm going to go through kind of the basics of how you start the game up, and then we're going to get back into the game exactly where we were after a little bit of a catch-up. So, with Dicenstein, this is a game where you play an Igor and you're going through the graveyard and you're digging up body parts. At the beginning of the game, you want to take these little tokens and you want to put them in a black bag. And then you want to randomly draw them out and place them on the board in a random order. I like to do a little snake path, and this will determine what parts are worth what points. At the top of the board, you get the best trade-in, 4 parts in any combination of those monsters for 5 victory points. After that, you get a good, efficient trade-in, 3 parts of any of the 3 monsters in any combination for 3 victory points. And then at the bottom, it starts to get less and less. And at the very bottom, you've got boss monsters that you can trade in one time during the game and score quite a bit of points with pieces that maybe you don't like or are worth no points good to you at all. Now, at the beginning of the game, you're also going to deal out 3 of these very cool, super duper monster cards, and at the end of the game, any body part that you have from either of these guys is going to net you 1 victory point. So, for example, when you're looking at the bottom of the victory point chart, you want to make sure that you're trying to keep a monster that scores you no points during the game. Now, we have been playing the game for exactly 1 turn. We are all henchmen at the moment, so we have the power of disloyalty. At the end of our turns, we've been taking 2 damage. So you might notice that I'm already at 4 damage. I may or may not have cheated the last time I played, but I accidentally kept a die. It wasn't purposeful, was it accidental? I'm not exactly sure, but James was the first one to catch it. My name is Andrew Lucio. This is James Mason, and over here that you can't see is Spencer Lane, and we are going to now walk you through the game, starting with, I believe, James's turn. Go ahead, James.
So I was asking about whenever I die, if I just die, I go back, I don't lose anything, right? Because whenever you kill someone, you take something.
Yes, so
if I just send him out till he dies.
To resequence what James was asking is, if you die, exactly what happens? Well, if you die because you just took disloyalty damage and you're now at 0 points, you're going to go back to your laboratory and your monster technically falls apart. Well, your dice are printed on the board when you're the worst monster in the game, so there's no real dice to actually collect and then pull back into your pool. But when you do die, you're going to take the dice that you've dug up, you're going to shuffle, you're going to roll them, you're going to boom out onto the table, you're going to pick the pieces, and you have to pick a piece if you roll it. So for example, you got a head, a torso, you got a foot, and you got a hand. You have to put the dice that you roll into those positions. You cannot willingly decide to use a henchman piece. If that makes sense, we'll go back to James. Does that make sense for you?
Yes.
Okay,
cool.
good. So James is going to go.
Dies, is what I was looking for.
Yes,
Without
just keep
penalty.
walking around until he dies.
Awesome. That's what I wanted to do, but I wanted to make sure before I sent him off into the world to die and for no reason. So I'm going to go just 1 over, and I'm going to pick up the 3 sets of dice from this room.
And the dice will go in this bag.
So I got dice for Invisible Man, the Mantis, and the Gillman. So I put them in the bag, shake them up, and I'm going to reach in blindly, drawing out 1 Gillman, drawing out an Invisible Man, and drawing out a Mantis.
All very good monsters. Every monster has its own unique power, which you will be able to read in between turns on these very cool monster cards. You'll also notice that at the bottom of the card, we have different dice layouts so that you can kind of strategize about the parts that you want to pick up to build the perfect monster that you want to build. I'll give you a tip. Early game, the more dig you have, the faster you're going to win the game.
Alright, and since it's the end of my turn, my henchman unfortunately is decaying, so he goes down 2, and he's now at 2 health. So next turn he will die.
Disloyalty!
Well, being the great person that I am,
Are you going to attack me and
I'm
cause
going
me
to
to
come
die
in,
quicker?
pushing into the same square, so that I'm going to attack him.
Remember, when you move into an opponent, you have to immediately attack them. After the attack, if you still have movement, you may feel free to keep moving, or you can choose to stay in the space, which will push your opponent out 1 space in any orthogonal direction, because all movement in the game is orthogonal unless you have the special gargoyle power, which allows you to move diagonally.
Alright, so he rolls for his attack. He does 1 damage to me. I get to counterattack, even if he had killed me with 2 attack. The die have, it's hard to see, it has 3 slashes for a single point, a crisscross for 2, and blank for no. So since he did 1 damage to me, even if I had died, I get to roll a counterattack, and I do 1 damage to him.
And I immediately take that damage.
He immediately takes the damage, and he pushes me orthogonally.
So choose which space James's face goes into. All right, perfect.
Right back to where I was.
Perfect. All right, so now he can choose to scavenge, and when he scavenges, that's going to immediately end his turn. Remember, kids, it's always beneficial to scavenge. You should scavenge every time. You should never really choose to not scavenge. Ooh. Now he's taken out a number of dice randomly, equal to his dig score. So as I told you before, more dig early in the game is super beneficial, will help you win the game. All right, so the dice from the bag go back into the space. He takes his 2 damage from his henchman's superpower disloyalty, and then it's going to pass to my turn, and then I'm going to go. All right, so
disloyalty.
I really want that Gilman power because the Gilman power is that you get one more dig and it's super good. So I'm going to take one space into this space right here and I'm going to dig and scavenge. And I'll put the dice in the bag. And I'm going to roll it up. Oh, baby. I feel the magic. My dig is 3, so I'm going to draw 3 out. And boom! 1 Gilman! Yes! Success is mine. I am going to now place these dice back into the space that I'm in. And then I will pass my turn over to James. And James will take his final turn.
With this henchman.
With his henchman.
Because he is going to die. Because he's not going to make it back to the lab. He's going to run. He's going to keep going till he
Oh,
dies.
I forgot to take 2 damage at the end of my turn. 1 and 2.
We are going to go for... Oh, I thought I had an idea. No, I don't remember it. We're going to go 1, 2.
There's one shell. There's the other.
So I'm going to take some swarmlings, some mummies, and some...
Ah! Everyone dies! They're all over.
I mean, my guy's passing out while he's digging, so it's okay.
Alright, pushing them back on the board.
Yeah, he's about to be taken off.
We're extremely clumsy, so forgive us.
Alright, so I'm going to reach in. Not going to look. I'm going to draw out 1 vampire. I'm going to draw out a mummy.
Oh, yes.
I'm going to draw out another mummy.
Alright, so all the dice go back into the space. He's going to take 2 damage from his disloyalty power, which is going to kill him. Now, when he dies, he's going to go immediately back to his laboratory. If he had body parts already on him, immediately fall apart, and he would have to rise and build a new monster, which is what he's going to do as Spencer takes him. And the reason we do this is for time purposes. While another person is building, you don't need to stop the game in order to see what they're building. Just go on with your next turn. Spencer, take it away.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and take my first 2 movement, come up here to where I have Plant Man, Gargoyles, and Unicorns.
That's right, kids. Unicorns are monsters. They're terrible people.
Can I get the bag?
The bag is
it's
over
in
here.
there. It's
The bag is somewhere where we're not going to mention on the internet. We're not going to.
is that?
That's a body.
That's a body.
Yes.
Sometimes it's a little hard for me to...
All you guys line them up.
Yeah. Yeah. Where the numbers are lining up.
Plant Man.
Plant Man, who's really good.
Plant Man.
Who's again really good.
Unicorn.
Unicorn, which can be good situationally because of its charge ability, and we'll talk about that later.
Is there a limit to the amount of dice that you have?
So there is no limit to the amount of dice that you can grab from the center. You could have 30 or 40 or even 50 dice stacked up, doing whatever you want them to do. Remember though, when you're building your monster, you can only use 4 dice, and you have to use any pieces that are rolled. You cannot choose to keep a piece from the henchman because he's. Why would you want to do that?
Okay, because basically what we're running into is now we've got everything set up with the victory points, but now everybody's got so many dice that we're able to just, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of fighting.
So remember, there's 2 ways to end the game. The first way is to get to 20 victory points, and that will cause the last round of the game to play out. And then everyone who's taken their turn will score their victory points. The second way to end the game is all the dice get completely dug out of the graveyard. Now, if you run into a situation near the end of the game where you have minimal dice in the graveyard, then the only thing that you should be doing is fighting or purposely walking back to your laboratory on an alternate turn, so that way, 1, when you get there, you'll fall apart, you'll trade your parts to get victory points, you'll build a new monster, and at the start of your next turn, you'll get to do the trade-in action a second time. So in this situation, you'll be able to trade some points in. Now remember, every turn, you have to move and attack always. So if you can move to somebody and you can attack them, you have to do it. That's part of the game.
That's what it is. So you always have to. So you can't just move and pick up. You have to move and attack.
That is correct.
So you have to actively move towards someone to attack?
Yes.
You have to move, actively move to attack someone?
Yes!
Oh, we did that wrong.
You must move and attack. Now, you can move in a direction where you don't end up.
Oh, okay. You have to make the attack. Okay.
You can move in a direction where you don't end up with another monster. You don't have to actively attack anyone, but you must move and attack on every turn. So if there's nothing to dig up, then you go move and attack. 4 victory points. 4 big victory points is what you can score for killing. It is almost the most efficient way to score victory points in the game. All right, so I'm guessing right now Spencer has died as well. He's rolling his parts. So I'm going to take my final turn before I die. I'm looking around the board. There's a lot of interesting powers and makeups, but to be honest, I only care about points. So are there any robot points that I can get to? There is some robot points I can get to. And it's got some werewolf stuff. Well, I got some werewolf stuff. I think what I really like is probably more Gillman stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move out and then move back to my space, which you can do, and then I'm going to dig. Yes, you can do that. You can move out and you can move back because you get 2 movement, and you can move in any direction you want as long as it's orthogonal. As long as it's orthogonal. The diagonal, again, is reserved for the gargoyle. Now, at the end of my turn, I'm going to take 2 damage. I am now deceased. I end up in my laboratory, and I'm going to roll and create a monster now. Just so you guys understand what making a monster is all about, you roll your dice. Once you roll your dice, you're going to see some heads and some hands. You're going to see some torsos maybe, which I have a torso. That's great. And then you're going to look at all the stats, and you're going to make the decision on what you want to build. So right now, I love the werewolf hand, because the werewolf hand is going to give me 4 attack. I love the mummy body, because not only does it give me 10 health, but it also gives me 1 attack, and the mummy super special ability is that I take 1 less damage in combat, so that's really good. Now, I told you earlier that I want the Gillman, okay, so I'm going to take some Gillman action here, and I'm going to take this Gillman right here, and the Gillman is going to give me a dig, but I also need some more digs, so I am going to take this swarm, and I'm going to use that as my feet, and that'll give me some extra dig as well. So when I go to do my stats, I just add up all the values. My intelligence is at a 3. That's really good. I get to reroll dice with that, and we'll talk about that. My dig is at a 1, 2, 3, and I get +1 for the Gillman, so my dig's at a 4. Better than the 3 that I had. My health is at 10, 11, 12, so I'm going to be really healthy. It's going to be hard to deal with me as a monster attacking and punching people in the face. I've got 1 movement here, so I'm super slow. Everyone's going to be able to outrun me. And then on top of that, my attack is a astonishing 4, 5. I got 5 attack, and I get +1 attack from rage, which gives me a 6 total attack. So even though I'm super slow, I hit like a freight truck. Now, that my guy is ready to go. I'm going to take my meatball on the board, and then back to my turn, we'll talk about trading in points. Now, we're going to go over to James, who has this monster. He's starting out in his laboratory. So when you start out in your laboratory, you can trade body parts and points. James, would you like to do any trades?
Yes, I'm actually going to trade in a part and a mummy part here, since they're both on the 1 victory point tier, to get 1 victory point.
Now he's going to give those to Spencer and Spencer, because remember, when you trade in parts for victory points, they leave the game forever.
Alright, so I did that trade in. Now my invisible man, Gilman vampire, is going to so he's got 3 movement, thankfully.
Woo!
And I thought I knew where I was going to go, but so.
That's a quick change. James is terrible at this game and strategy in general.
Yes. At strategy in general. That's I'm like, oh man, what was I going to do? I'm going to do. So actually, I'm just going to go 1 step forward. Pick up all of these guys. So I'm picking up some clowns and some mantis.
Remember, it's all bag, and he'll pull out a number of dice equal to his dig rating.
So my dig rating is 5 since I have Gilman. So I will be able to pick out 5 and then put 1 back in the bag. Per Gilman.
Is there 6 dice?
Yes.
You should just take 1 out that you don't like. and then keep the rest.
Well, no, I have a dig of 5 with the Gilman.
Yes, but he's
Yeah.
saying
There's 6 dice in the back. If you subtract 5 from 6,
So I have
that's
4, I have 4
1.
to begin with.
Yeah, I understand that.
Gilman's giving me another one, but I pick out and I have to put it back. So I
it's
pick
not,
out
he
5.
doesn't get to.
You don't get to keep the extra Gilman?
No.
We've been playing this game terribly wrong.
You guys make it.
I understand this.
Yeah, so it has here, when you scavenge, put 1 extra die, and then you have to put it back before you put the dice into your
You
inventory.
pick one of the dice.
So it's kind of like looting. You get to look at it. If you like it, you keep it, and you trade something else in that you don't like. That's the key.
I grabbed 5 out. I don't care for this clown part, so I'm going to put 2 clown parts back.
Absolutely unbelievable. I think I've won at least 3 games. I'm a big cheater, cheater, pumpkin eater.
It is
Oh
still
my
a very
goodness.
good power because you get to draw out a lot and choose what you want.
Oh no, it is absolutely still amazing early game, but terrible that I cheated all these games.
If everybody was doing it, though, you're okay.
All right.
That's true.
It's
I
not
forgot
cheating
about
if
that.
everybody was doing it.
So, with my Gilman gargoyle unicorn that has swarms for hands, he is very fast.
Oh gosh.
He's got a speed of 4, plus he can move diagonally.
Diagonally.
So he's going to come 1, 2, 3, 4,
Oh my.
and he has a dig of 6, so I just get all of these.
All 6 of the dice. That is the one time that you can ignore the bag and be like, I'm just taking everything here because my dig is incredible. All right, so I have 1 movement. It is now my turn. I'm going to slowly ease my way into combat situations by first moving into here, doing the dig. My dig is 4. However, now that we're playing by the correct rules, I'm going to put 1 back. So I'm really only taking 3. All right, let's see what we got here. Give it the old jumbaloo, the old deebly-dee. All right, then we're going to pull out 4 dice. You know what? I don't really care. So that's going back in the bag. But it really doesn't need to go back in the bag. I should have just taken it and put it back on the board. But you know what? Hey, that's life. You do a lot of things, you regret it later. All right, there it goes back onto the space. And James is now going to take his turn. Because remember, when you scavenge, that ends your turn. Your turn is over.
So how does the vampire work again?
The vampire works thusly. The vampire has the power of mind control. As long as the character, the other opponent, is in the graveyard, there's no range limitation. You just pick them and you say, "I'm going to mind control." You roll a number of attack dice.
Orthogonal.
What's that?
It's also
Only
orthogonal.
if they are-
Yes, it's also orthogonal only. Sorry about that. Orthogonal movement. Even if you have the gargoyle special power, that only affects movement. But it has to, the person you're going to mind control has to be orthogonal in a nice straight line in front of you. Them, and then what you do is you roll a number of attack dice equal to your intelligence. They roll a number of attack dice equal to their intelligence, and whoever has the most hits wins. Obviously, you want to win if you're trying to mind control. If you tie them or you don't roll enough to get them, then you're not going to be able to mind control. You can still do your turn.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and walk all the way over to here.
You can only mind control on the start of your turn before you move.
Boom! Spencer Land, the sm-
It's okay.
that you will not be able to mind control anyone this turn
That is correct.
whatsoever.
It's okay. I still wanted to go here, so it really didn't matter.
There's the bag, and he will go ahead and get in there and
I
dig
wanted to
out
make
a
sure
couple.
that you knew that.
Oh, thank
before
goodness
you
for saying that, because I was going to mind control the werewolf and tell it to go attack the other one for me.
Rules.
I got 2 heavy hitters, and I am not.
Oh my goodness, this guy over here.
That's why I got vampire. So I pick out 5, so I'm just basically going to grab every single one but 1. Okay. And I'm going to drop back in gargoyle.
Because gargoyles are worthless when it comes to points. All right, so the pieces go back into the space. I'm telling you, it's completely non-efficient. It's the worst move we could have done. All right, so James is done with his turn, and it's now over to Spencer.
All right. With my amazing gargoyle powers, I'm going to fly 1, 2, 3, and take all of these.
Out through the parts that are worth the most points. He's a terrible person.
Yeah, he's going to... Right, face.
Oh my goodness gracious. Well, I've only got 1 movement, so it's not like I can do anything about him. So I'm guessing you have to do something about him.
Unfortunately, he keeps going away from my orthogonal mind control attacks. Which is what I was going to try and do.
Exactly. All right, let's see. I gotta look at my dice. I gotta look at. I gotta see what this is. All right, I am going into this space, and I am going to take all these dice. Remember, my dig is 4, but I've got to put 1 back on the board, not into the bag. So we got 6 there. Well, I'll put it back in the bag, and then I'll put it back on the board. We're gonna go through here. I'm gonna take 3 out. My 3 look good. I'm gonna take a 4th one out. Okay, I'd rather have the werewolf, so I'm gonna put a robot back. And then I'm gonna keep those 3, and the rest are gonna go back into the space, and then it's going to be James's turn.
Alright, so my little robot that could is going to just simply step on down.
I know, right? I'm a happy person.
And we're getting like every now and then a second of our stream. Alright, so I put all the dice in the bag. Pull out another 5. So I'm going to put a clown back in. Yeah, it's the most inefficient way. I'm going to put it back in the bag and then take it back out of the bag.
There's no reason to put it back in the bag. Just take the piece that you're going to put back in the bag, put it on the board, reach
take the
back
other
into the
bag
bag,
out of that,
put that on the board, and then move on to the next person.
Alright, where are you going to fly to now?
I'm going to fly to here. Take
That's
all
what I
of
thought.
these.
There's really nothing we can do now, kids, but I've got a plan. Hopefully I'll be able to kind of stem the blood flow that's going on right now. I'm going to move back into this spot. I'm going to dig. I'm going to take all 3 of these vampire pieces because I can, and then I'm going to end my turn, and it's now James's turn.
Alright, Mr. Robot is going to... I don't know why I keep trying to chase him. It's not really... Well, actually, I'm not really. But
Moving 2 there.
yeah, so I'm going to take... Look, actually, wait. So I can cash in before I start moving, right?
No.
But is even whenever they're out, you can...
Nope.
Oh, we've been doing that wrong.
Nope. Remember, kids, if you want to trade in parts for victory points, you got to make it back to your laboratory. As soon as you step through the door, when you do it intentionally, you're going to fall apart. You're going to trade in the parts that you want to for victory points. Remember, you can only do it once, and then you're going to roll a new monster. And then on your next turn, since you're starting in your laboratory, you get to trade in again.
All right. So all but 1 of them. It feels like 1. All right, so I'm going to put a clown back. I'm not going to put it back because I figured out that doesn't work too well.
Better to put it directly on the board.
So 2 clowns now hanging out. And that is the end of my turn.
All right, it is now Spencer's turn. He's a big cheater head. Go, Spencer.
Oh, you're just jealous of my flying and...
I'm terribly jealous.
You also haven't looked at my health, have you?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he's got a high dig and a high health. And can move for some reason like crazy.
For whatever
He's
reason,
really
my
tough.
monster build was terrible.
I thought mine was good until I saw his, and I was like, oh my gosh.
His was way
better.
better.
Attack. Like, I don't know how he... You've been studying the rule books and know all of the monster parts, don't you?
You see all the dice that are in front of them. There's no limit to the amount of dice you can hoard. You can hoard all the dice. All right, so it's my turn now. I've only got 1 movement. I guess where I'm going to go? To the laboratory. When I go into the laboratory, my monster falls apart, and then I can trade in pieces. I'm looking over there. I'm looking over here. I want to get the most pieces that I can, so let's take a look at swarms. I don't really like swarms, so I can get rid of those. I've got a robot piece. There's a 3rd, and then I don't have any unicorn, so I guess I'm going to have to trade in a Gillman, which sucks, but I'm going to do it anyways. I'm trading these 4 in. Put them in the box, please, because they're gone forever. And I'm going to get 5 victory points. Has anyone else moved up points?
I went up 1.
All right, so I got 5, and Robot's got 1 victory point. We didn't move them up earlier. We should have. I'm sure everyone on the internet is going to be furious. Why didn't you move them up 1? All right, so yeah, we're going to take that guy off.
No,
Look at you,
he's-
Frankenstein. You're a terrible person, and this dice game was not named after you. All right, so back to what I'm doing. I traded in my parts. My monster falls apart, and then I'm going to roll a new monster. And as I do that, James is going to take his turn.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and move.
I wasn't going to point that out, however.
1, 2, 3 movement. He's just gonna lay there because I can't get him to stand up for some reason. I'm also gonna knock over someone else's piece. I will put the 6 dice that I picked up in the bag. And draw out 5. And it is now Spencer's turn.
And it is now Andrew's turn.
All right, so now that they've taken their turns and they failed to tell you exactly what they were doing on their turns and why they were doing it because they're terrible people.
Oh, sorry.
I'm going to figure out. No, I don't want to hear it anymore. You're terrible. You're fired, and you're not even hired.
Wait, we're being paid for this?
No, you're not. Let's go back to what we were doing. All right, so I built my invisible werewolf man. You can't see anything above his feet, and all you see are 2 hands floating around. But this is what we're going to do because I think it makes the most sense. I've got to do my stats out again. So I've got 7 health, not too much. I've got 3, 4 intelligence, so pretty good there. My dig is a 1, 5. I got 5 dig, but 6 with the gill man. And then I'm looking at movement. I've got 2, 3. I've got 3 movements, which is not terrible. And then finally my attack is a 4. And then I get +1 for the rage, and that makes 5. All right, so let's get on with my turn. Now, at the beginning of my turn, I get to trade in stuff, 4 points, because I'm starting in my laboratory. I'm going to look at the board. I like some of the things that I see. Do I have enough to trade in and get points? Clown, Invisible Man, Plant Man. I don't have many of those. Mummy is terrible, and so is the Wolf Man. So I'm not really looking at a lot of stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this vampire, this vampire, this vampire. I'm going to take this mummy. That makes 4. I am going to take, I don't know. So what is this? This is a gill man. I don't want to trade that gill man. I'll get some points for that one. But you know what? I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to do it. Yes, I will trade in 5 for the 4-point boss monster. The token is mine and nobody else can get it for the rest of the game. That'll move me up the victory track 4 points. I'll go from 5 to 9. I'm in the lead. I'm winning. And then once I am done with that, I get to take my turn as normal. I'm looking around the board and I don't like what I'm seeing. So I'm going to swiftly attack the robot. Here I come! Wolfman! Ah! Now, once I get to the Wolfman, we are going to do battle. I'm going to take some combat dice equal to my combat rating, which is 5. And then I'm going to roll those combat dice. Alright, now I have an intelligence rating of 4, so that means I get 4 rerolls. That doesn't mean I choose 4 dice and then roll them all once. That means I can take 1 die and I can roll it 4 times if I wanted to. But I do all of my rolls before the defensive player can make me do any re-rolls, or they can do rolls of their own. So, here we go. I'm going to take this one, I'm going to re-roll it. I'm going to re-roll it a second time. I think I want to keep that 1 damage. What do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know what? I like 6. He's got a mummy piece though. No, he doesn't. Alright, so I'm going to do 6 damage. He's got nothing that can make me re-roll, so he's going to take 6 damage and go from 13 down to 7. And then he gets to roll his attack dice. How many attack dice do you have?
0.
Bupkis! So he gets nothing!
You have no attack.
Then
Nice.
I'm going to end my movement there because I have no more movement. If I did have movement, I could continue to move and attack. Let me see real quick. I went 1. I went 1, and then I went 2, and then I went 3. So no matter what, I wouldn't have any more movement. So I'm going to push him now, and I have to push him orthogonally, and I'm going to push him right here into this space. And then I'm going to laugh maniacally, but then he's going to laugh at me because I have nothing to dig up, so I have no points to get. And I am through with my turn. Pass it over to James.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and actually send my robot, or I guess he's my invisible mantis yeoman vampire, back to the lab to qualify. And I'm going to go ahead and turn in 5 robots and 2 unicorns to get. No, it's only 4 damage.
He only needs 4 pieces to score 5 victory points. So he's doing any combination of, and he's going to choose.
I'm going to do 2 robots and 2 unicorns.
We'll hand them over to Spencer. They'll go into the box, forever into the abyss.
If you would please move me to 6.
We're going to go from 1 to 6.
And now I got to figure out how I'm going to roll all these in my little itty bitty space that I have to rebuild my robot.
I like the plop effect, and you should do it right here on top of that.
If you would please move.
Hey, look at that. You don't really need to roll them across the board. Just plop them down. They'll randomize themselves, I guarantee it.
Alright, so what I'm going to do is laugh maniacally as I fly diagonally around this invisible wolf.
He's moved 2 spaces so far. 3 and 4. He has how much movement?
4 movement.
What a terrible person. Now, as soon as he gets there, he falls apart, and he can now trade parts in for victory points. What would you like to trade in?
I am going to trade in a lot of things.
Well, you only get 1 trade-in. Remember, kids, 1 trade-in per trade-in action.
Alright, well,
He's cheating. He's cheating.
It's the truth. I swear.
It's the truth.
alright, well, I'm going to trade in 4 unicorn pieces.
4 unicorns for 5 points. He's moving on up
Oh my gosh.
to the west side. It's the east side. All
I got
right.
enough
Lots of
feet.
pieces.
I got enough body parts apparently.
Lots of options.
All right, so let's see here. We're
It
definitely.
is your turn now.
Oh, it is my turn. Well, now that he's done, he's going to be building himself a monster, and while he's doing that, I can go ahead and take my turn. And this is for time purposes. You don't want to sit there and just wait for someone to go through analysis paralysis. Let's take a look at the state of the board.
Or dice paralysis.
I have a bunch of dice over here that I like.
That doesn't
I
even
don't
work.
want to
The
get
dump doesn't
rid
even
of.
work.
The dump didn't even work.
It totally worked. Now take the pieces that are on top of the other pieces and just put them down. There you go. There you go. Any ones that are cocked, just re-roll them. It's no big deal. Look at that. There you go. The dump works.
Okay.
All right. So you know what? I'm just going to dig because there's no reason not to dig. Especially because I have to pick up pieces for my secret army monsters. All right. Let's see what we got here. I will move 1 space and dig these up, and these are now mine. And then my turn will be over, and it will go to James.
So we're still trying to build, and I just did the robot, which means I'm about to re-roll some.
So
dice.
talk about some of the strategy as you're deciding your
So
pieces.
since there's not a lot to dig, I'm going for attack now because I'm just going to build a robot monster thing that can just beat up anybody and everybody and hopefully have some help. And I can't remember. Ooh, the gargoyle was some really good help. So I want to hold on to that and see if I get anything better. So I just placed a robot on because it gave me 3 attack, which the robot special ability is whenever you place it, you can re-roll any number of your body parts at that time. So I got to figure out, well, I don't need any more feet, so I can get rid of that. I have more than enough body torso parts.
So as you're listening to James, what he just said is very good strategy. When you're placing your body parts, it matters in the order that you place them. He placed a foot, and since he no longer needs feet, and he wants the attack from the robot hand,